Alright guys, it is round 2 of Periscope or New York City kid in Florida. We're gonna go over this bridge and then I'm gonna explain a little bit of what I'm talking about. It's nice sometimes when you get away from, even though I'm working here, where you get away from where you work because you have a little bit more time to just think freely. And sometimes when you're just thinking freely, that's when you're most creative. So over the last couple months, a lot of people have been really bringing up some interesting questions, asking me about things that I find I do, but I don't really think about how I do it, or I'm not really aware of how to do it or articulate it. So this morning I've just been doing some thinking, and a lot of times people ask me about the walk and you know, when you're correcting dogs or when you're giving dogs direction on the leash and stuff like that, you know, how do you do it and stuff. And I find before anything else, one of the most important things, actually let me show you who we got here. We got Bentley, Bella, and Soko. One of the most important things is knowing your point of tension, or rather finding your point of tension. So what I mean by that is really knowing, I know it's going to be kind of hard to see here, if I have the leashes here and they all have slack, being aware of having slack in your hands, but not 30 feet of slack, that if you need to give direction via leash, it doesn't take you 5 seconds before you reach that point of tension, meaning before there's tension on that leash. So I'll try and find this really quickly, but you can see here, based on where I am, my point of tension for this leash is here. My point of tension for this leash is basically when the clasp goes from hanging to this. Most of the time, I'm gonna sit these guys here really quickly. Give me a second here. Bella. I know that's hard for you. Sit, Soko. Most of the time, when I'm walking, my point of tension puts me in a position where whatever excess leash is hanging is fine, but I know this gold clasp right here is not here, it's relaxed, but I also don't have 30 feet of leash that I can do all of this and I still haven't found tension in the leash. That's really important. I want to know that, try to set this up where you can see that when I'm walking, to get point of tension, it's loose, but it's really almost a flick of the wrist or a little elbow movement. It doesn't take me long, and throughout the entire walk, sometimes I don't realize I'm doing it, but I'm testing. I know that if my dog goes left a certain way or goes down or goes right, that when I feel certain tension, I have a really good idea of, I call it seeing through the leash. I can see through feeling, knowing where the dog is moving based on the direction and all that stuff. So knowing your point of tension when you're walking dogs, especially, very important, or when you're just giving general direction, especially if you find that you're gonna need to use that, whether it's soft pressure, whether it's correction, whatever it is, knowing your point of tension is really important, because that's gonna get you really good with your timing too. A lot of people have bad timing because the position on the leash is just way too short or it's way too long, you know, and that can be very problematic. So these are the guys that we have here, just hanging out in Delray Beach, Florida. I'll be here for probably around the 26th, I believe. So we're gonna be doing lots of periscopes. Try to see if I can keep you in the mix with the clients that we have here and what we're doing. But for the most part, we're doing lots of periscopes, a good amount of Q&As, dog behavior stuff, all that good stuff. But point of tension, I want you guys to really practice that. That's gonna get your timing very aware. It's also gonna allow you to know whether you need to go up, whether your leash pressure needs to go this way, whether it needs to go that way. Yeah, awesome. I mean, it's something that I can talk about it over and over again. It's really hard to drill. It's more something that you guys gotta feel and then just know. How long do I work with clients? It depends. You know, sometimes dogs are really sensitive, and it also depends on the area, right? So if we're in New York City, I spend a lot more, I'm gonna get to walking now. If we're in New York City, I spend a lot more time focusing on leash pressure exercises just because people in New York City, it's a necessity. You need to walk your dog on leash, right? If I'm in certain parts of Florida or certain parts in the South, or I'm in the middle of nowhere, upstate New York, working with clients, leash laws are almost non-existent, and it's not really like, there's some dogs that have never even been on a leash. Now, if we're teaching them certain things, we're gonna have to cover leash pressure just to move to other, I guess, forms of communication, but that will be the extent of it. Like, they don't need to be like leash masters the way I really emphasize and focus with New York City clients. But typically, like, a leash pressure session can be anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour, you know what I mean? Where I'm showing them stuff, and then I'm getting them to do it, and then we're seeing the difference between when I'm doing it and the dog response versus theirs, and trying to get that to be even, and then looking into why, you know, critiquing in a way that's not beating them down, but is also making it very clear, look, there's a difference, and we need to find that. And even though I'm well aware of what it is, it's like getting them to find it through, like, feeling it in a way, if that makes sense. And that's what gets them good, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, all the tools that we use have almost nothing to do with what I need. It's more about what's gonna be able to transfer easier or easiest to the client with the tools that I use. Is the timing gonna feel similar if I use it, if I do it, versus if the owner does it, you know what I mean? So that's the same thing for... Yeah, when you're doing it with two dogs, oh yeah, you can do it with a prong, you can do it with a slip lead, you can do it with a halty, you can pretty much do a flat buckle collar. I mean, the feeling is a little bit different. Sometimes you need to be a little bit more poppier, like you gotta do a lot more pops with you know, like slip leads and stuff. Sometimes you can be really soft, and it depends on the material of the slip lead, you know what I mean? Sometimes they open up really nice, so you can get a nice pop and release. Sometimes it can be really soft and it opens up. That's the one thing I like about Hermspringer prong collars that have the metal clasp. I really love the flow. It can expand and contrast really freely. There are a lot of other prong collars or certain materials that don't allow that, and I feel that it doesn't communicate what you want. What's going on? How's it going, guys? How's it going? Thanks for joining me here in Florida. I'll be here for a while, and then it's back to New York City into the cold to get back to the training center with the rest of the team. Right now we have the team holding down the fort. Got some dogs there, always training over there. They're just without me, so I'm sure it's bittersweet, just like it is for me. Yeah, so the dominant dog collar, the idea for that is actually to cut off, like, the air, and that's, in my opinion, that's more of an emergency situation. It doesn't feel the same as a slip lead. I don't use them most, but if I'm trying to work with a dog and teaching them to walk, I would maybe, if anything, use it as a backup. I wouldn't use it as like my main source of this is how you're gonna walk. I find it actually kind of difficult to send the message. It's so weird, like the feeling of it, probably because of the fitting. It's even different from a slip lead, and I spent more of my training in earlier years just using slip leads, so I'm really, really good with them, but it just doesn't feel the same, you know. Check this out. Going back over the bridge here. This is just a wake. We have the beach. The house that I'm at is right on the beach. So today's a nice day, a dog day. It's not necessarily a human day at the beach. We'll probably hit that up a little bit later on today. But this is our third time being out. Our second walk. I personally like prong. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. I personally like prong collars. Just because it's one of the tools that allow you to be super, super, super soft and sensitive, but you can also be really firm if needed. And there aren't very many tools on the market that that have such a wide range of communication. And when you're working with dogs, specifically problematic dogs, well, you know what? This is the thing. This is the problem. I understand that in the explanation. It's sort of like saying, I want to lose 100 pounds, but I don't like the fact that I have to change my diet or go to the gym. So find something else for me. it's like it's really limiting you. Like, sure, you can do it, but then this is the difference. It's like you might be able to do it, but it's going to be even harder for your client because your client has another job. Your client is not a professional trainer. You know what I mean? Your client doesn't spend nearly the same amount of time as you do, and now they're struggling to get results. So they're hiring you, and then they're trying to tell you how to do your job. That's like me trying to lay out hardwood floor, and I fail, and I mess up, and I try again, and I mess up, and I try again. Then I go, you know what? I have to hire a professional hardwood floor laying company. I don't even know what you call that. And then when they come, I go, listen, I'm going to tell you guys the way this needs to be done. No, you're not. You don't know how to do it. You just failed 4 times. You know what I mean? So that goes into a little bit of another topic. So I have a couple different clients here. My main clients is just kind of continued training, and we have a really good relationship because I've gotten their dog to a level that other people weren't able to. So they're actually, I spent yesterday with them, just kind of a refresher, doing a couple things because they're able to be off leash with Bentley at the beach and stuff. She swims in the water. Hey, swims in the water and everything, and does a lot of things that she was never able to do. If you guys follow, how's it going? Morning. If you guys follow us on the YouTube page, there's a video. At once it was controversial until like we shut the critics up because she loves the water, of Bentley's phobia, and we had done a boarding train with her before. She had aggression issues and stuff. So still struggles a little bit with the male owner, but the male owner is super lenient. Obviously this is better. You can still have her off leash and stuff. With the female owner, she's on point. Bentley is just like an angel with her. But so basically what we do is they're actually away. They're in Aspen. So I'm just doing some maintain training with them while they're gone, and then when they get back, we're just going to kind of do a refresher. And this is the thing. A lot of times people think, hold on one sec, let me just adjust this. A lot of times people think that like, oh, if the client is still training, then the dog is still struggling. And in some cases that's true, but in a lot of cases in all our lives it's not. You know what I mean? Like a white belt in jiu-jitsu ends up getting a blue belt. Does he stop? No, he stops until he gets a black belt. And I know 100% that black belts continue training. They don't stop because now they're a black belt. Same thing with working out at a gym. I want a beach body. I work to the point that I get it. Do I stop working out or do I maintain that lifestyle, right? So same thing with showering. I showered once, now I'm fresh. Does it mean that I'm never gonna have to shower again? Absolutely not. So with this client, that's my main client. And then I have some Skype clients and private and stuff that I'm gonna be doing all different sorts of things, from dog aggression to leash reactivity to human aggression, fear, anxiety. So I'm out here for work. You know, much needed in the different areas in South Florida. We're in Delray Beach. I'm going to be back and forth between here and Boca Raton and Miami. So that's kind of where I'm staying. I'll be here till the 26th. And that's pretty much it. Guys, we're getting back to the house here. Thank you for sticking with me. I will catch up with you guys later. All right?